succeeding a press conference that showed a bunch of awesome games, particularly a lot of their own games, you would think that Square Enix would deliver. Unfortunately, that is not really the case. While I don't think that Square's press conference showed a lack of games or not good games, they didn't show enough, they didn't talk about them enough, and they didn't really give us too much new that we didn't get at Microsoft's press conference or even just prior to E3. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really disappointed in Square's press conference. I expected something a little different and a little more exciting. Yeah, we got to see Tomb Raider gameplay, and I'm really impressed with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Besides that gameplay demo, we already knew about Shadow of the Tomb Raider for a little while now. We got a trailer at Microsoft's press conference, and that new game, Captain Spirit, which takes place in the world of Life is Strange. It looks pretty delightful, right? But the trailer that we got here was not even as good as the one that Microsoft showed, so that's 2 for 2.
All right again, 2 for 2.
Kingdom Hearts 3 looks great. There's the new Frozen World and some other awesome things in there. The thing is, most of the stuff that we saw at Square's press conference for that game was shown at Microsoft's.
This Keyblade.
Is that?
Mickey. You're too late.
And guess where Just Cause 4 was revealed? And guess where we had a more awesome trailer? Microsoft's. Other than those games, which do appeal to me greatly if I'm being completely honest, there was just Dragon Quest XI and Final Fantasy XIV DLC, Final Fantasy XIV crossover with Monster Hunter World. I'm not trying to say those games are bad, and I get that there's a big fan base for that style of game, but at least talk about it maybe. But there were 2 new IPs, and I gotta say I'm actually really excited for them, and that's what definitely grabbed my attention. Babylon and Quiet Man. Each of these actually looks really cool. The cinematic trailer for Babylon and this really interesting, very realistic looking but then seamless transition to gameplay trailer for Quiet Man definitely got my attention, and I want to know more, but I don't know when that's coming. I actually think that Square Enix should have talked a little bit more about these new IPs, and honestly they should have just talked. They should have had someone who's developing these games talk about why they're excited, talk about new features, just tell us a little something like most E3 press conferences usually do. Am I satisfied with some of Square Enix's press conference games? Yeah, I think the showcase did show me stuff that I'm gonna play without a doubt, and some that I'm interested in and definitely want to know more. And then, of course, as every press conference usually would, there's going to be a few games that I just don't really care that much about, and that's fine. It's all subjective. I just wish that Square Enix had more to talk about, more to offer, and that they didn't sleep on some of their biggest games.
Wake up.
Guys, we can't talk about Square Enix at E3 without talking about Final Fantasy VII. Remember how gorgeous that impressive remake was going to look? We got that trailer a couple years back at a PlayStation E3 press conference. It's such a long time coming now, and it's like a myth. Will it ever happen?
At last, the promise has been made.
Why didn't Square talk about it? I don't know. And whether or not it was going to be at Sony's press conference, either way, if it is, Square should say, stay tuned for that in a few hours. If not, then this is just a disappointment. Square Enix should not be forgetting about this big title that everyone needs to know about. And then there's the Avengers project, made from big-time developers in Square that know how to make awesome action games.
The world will always need heroes.
And there's a lot of ambition behind this, and I really want to know about it. And can you blame me? I mean, I feel like who doesn't want to know about it, especially if you're big into Marvel and you like Square Enix action games. I believe they probably have something big up their sleeves, but they didn't even talk about it. They didn't even mention once, not even another tease, and that is actually genuinely disappointing on my watch. When it comes to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I'm really impressed. I actually loved the gameplay. I think that the stealth looks really exciting and tense, and I really enjoyed my time with Tomb Raider as well as Rise of the Tomb Raider, so I have no doubt in my mind that this new Tomb Raider is going to be really good.
There is a moment in everyone's life when we must make a choice. Let the world shape our destiny, or fight to become who we're meant to be.
They have a good track record, and I'm super excited for it. I was definitely amazed by the cinematics and the gameplay, both. And I think that the game looks awesome, and I hope that people will get hyped for it because it's going to be good, for sure. It's going to conclude one of the best trilogies in modern console gaming, if you ask me. They're my kind of game. Some of them are just so awesome, and I'm excited, so I'm glad that Square Enix opened with this. They should open with something awesome like this that people are definitely excited for, but I mean, we did see some cinematics at Microsoft's press conference, so it's not the most new thing, but it's still exciting nonetheless. I am actually stoked for Just Cause 4. I love Just Cause. Those games are just fun. They're stupid fun. They're exciting. It's kind of like you're playing an action movie. And the thing with me is I love action movies and I love action video games. And I just love that kind of style. So if you combine those, I'm really hyped. And I love the trailer that I saw at Microsoft's press conference. I watched it a bunch of times. It looks so good. I don't think that the trailer looked as good for Just Cause 4 at Square's press conference, but it still looked good, and they talked a little bit about the gameplay, dynamic weather and whatnot, lots of vehicles, and just lots of awesome, epic explosions and action cliches that are fun to play. So I'm looking forward to it for sure. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that I want to play Just Cause 4. Kingdom Hearts 3 is like the most anticipated game right now, like one of, if not the most. So they should be showing new stuff at every press conference. Now, Microsoft had a big get by showing it there. I actually expected to see it Sony's first and now Microsoft's, and I love this demo with Frozen and whatnot. It looks great. I'm super impressed by the graphics and everything else. It still looks weird and confusing and complicated, but Kingdom Hearts 3 is dope. But why did they show like the same trailer? I don't get that.
It's cold! Guess he's too used to the beach. Hey, Islander, what can I say?
That's where one of my biggest disappointments is in Square's press conference this year. That Kingdom Hearts 3, this big game that they're making, they show us like the same thing the next day. Come on, there's probably so many more new things you can show us. Even just a different trailer.
So what will Elsa accept? Light or darkness? I know I want to know.
This new game Babylon looks cool. I mean, we didn't really get that much, but like this cinematic trailer sort of just teases something. I'm very curious about it, but the main reason I'm curious about it is because it's Platinum Games. I'd say Platinum Games are the developers that make some of my favorite action games. My favorite genre is action, and I just love games that they make. We're talking like Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101, and just so many more awesome games. So I look forward to whatever they're going to do with this.
Yo! Wrong address, dog! No one ordered no chow! Way back there!
That other new IP, it's called The Quiet Man, and I definitely like what I saw because it looked like it was like a movie trailer, like it looked like real people, and it might have been. I have to watch it again. And they're walking, and the next thing you know, a little fight is about to break out, and we see some action gameplay, and then it sort of just cuts, and we know it's a tease for something cool and exciting, and I'm so curious. So I actually like that a lot, not gonna lie, it seems really cool.
Cool!
So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on Square's E3 showcase. It's not terrible, but it's not all that fresh. We got some good games and some that I'm actually really impressed in and looking forward to it. But there's also a lot of games that I just don't care about, and I think they didn't present them all that well in an exciting manner. No new sequels to games that we've been wanting sequels for, and also Avengers Project and Final Fantasy VII were just slept on, and that absolutely sucks. There's no way around it. That is just a big disappointment and a big loss. I mean, unless those games are really that far off that maybe they're next generation. If so, then that leads into a whole nother discussion of the problem with revealing games too early. I really wanted to see that, and they didn't show either. But that's enough about my opinions on Square Enix at their E3 presentation. Do you agree that it was way too short? Do you agree that there was not enough surprise? Do you agree that they were sort of recycling the same stuff that we just saw not that long ago at Microsoft press conference and whatnot? And do you guys think that overall it was a kind of a disappointing press conference that just ended like that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about Square Enix and their upcoming games. What are you excited for? What were you disappointed by? I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. And leave a thumbs up if you like this video. And subscribe if you want to see more, because I plan to do videos sort of like this, just reviewing the E3 press conferences and just talking about what we saw and what we didn't see, of course. Thank you guys again, and until next time.